Yes, you can go ahead
Good
and
evening,
start.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this year's edition of Parenting Summit. We are highly delighted to have you here, and we can't wait for you to learn and be equipped with knowledge to help you with your parenting. Thank you so much for joining us once again. My name is Barakat Hassan, and with me as the co-host today is Madam Zeria. Would you like to introduce yourself, Ma?
Thank you. My name is Coach Zeria Matika from Zimbabwe. I'm co-hosting together with Barake Hassan. I'm very much pleased to be here tonight. And I would like to welcome everyone who has joined today. Wherever you are joining us from, we are pleased that you are with us tonight. And we are not only here just to be on the Zoom, we are here as parents willing to learn. And as we are doing that, I greatly encourage you parents to make sure you are not distracted during the course of this virtual meeting so that you can grasp as much as you can. This is a learning evening for you tonight. We are going to learn from our presenters. So I want to welcome you again, once again, parents. Feel comfortable. Be very alert and eager to ask questions. This is how we can only learn. By asking questions shows that we are interested and we want to learn. So please feel free, take notes, ask questions, share whatever you want to share, as long as it's helping you to do your correct parenting. Thank you so much for joining us once again. You are very welcome tonight. We cannot wait to get started. I hand you over to Barak Hassan to take us to the next level. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the welcoming speech, Coach Zaria. So before we go on, because we are getting started immediately, before we go on, I would like to thank our partners and our supporters and our sponsors, Lotus Bank. We say a big thank you for supporting this year's Parenting Summit. We also say a big thank you to SOSA by Right Foods, as well as Goxi Micro Insurance Company. We can never forget our partner, our health partner this year, Davo Africa. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for sponsoring this year's Parenting Summit. And that will take us straight to our keynote speech this night. Before I call on the speaker, permit me to tell us a little bit about her. Dr. Mrs. Olajobi has been at the forefront of presenting an unusual form of education for the mind since 2007, equipping young people for life beyond the school setting. She also creates unique avenues for individuals who truly desire to learn how to learn, with a relentless vigor to create a society emotionally stable. Dr. Mrs. Olajobi has delivered several keynote presentations, lectures, and hands-on workshops on soft skills, brain training, emotional health, emotional wellness, and hygiene, and emotional first aid. In her quest to eliminate the vagueness surrounding the teaching of emotional health, she created a series of emotional wellness kits for children and teens, designed to put young people in control of their emotional well-being and empower them to grow into successful adults. So we can see that our speaker tonight is someone who is very passionate with children and the growth of teenagers. So permit me to welcome her again to deliver a keynote speech on the topic Beyond Report Cards, Raising Children for Character, Purpose, and Contribution. Welcome, Mrs. Olajobi. Please let's join me in welcoming her by giving a round of applause. You could show emojis, you could react with emojis or something. Thank you so much for joining us here once again, ma. So in the next 40 minutes, we'll be listening to Mrs. Olajobi. Thank you so much, Dr. Mrs. Olajobi.
Thank you so much, Ms. Baraka, for that warm welcome, and thank you, Coach Zaria, as well, for the welcome speech. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I feel really privileged to be here, and I'm hoping to learn as well. I mean, yes, I might be the one giving the keynote, but I believe that if there's one thing that you're going to learn for the rest of your life, it is parenting. Because every single stage that you get to in parenting, you are new at that level. Right. Okay, so the topic before me tonight is Beyond the Report Card, Raising Children for Character, Purpose, and Contribution. So our keywords are beyond the report card, then character, purpose, and contribution. So just to put things into better perspective for us. So when we say beyond the report card, we're saying beyond academic performance, because it seems that somehow we're seeing that the dumbbells getting skewed to the side of, oh, what did your child get in their SAT exams? How many A's did your child have in WAEC or in other standardized exams? And that's feeling like the most important thing. And sometimes parents are so big on these areas, we forget some areas that are equally important and some that are almost more important. So a child has got all A's. It doesn't mean that the child is well-behaved or is empathetic or is able to contribute in a way that goes beyond the academics. Because you see, we need to remember the first and most important point is that as parents, we are grooming individuals for the future. We're preparing children for the world. And in the world, you'll agree with me that there's a lot more than just academic performance. There's a lot more than just, oh, I had A's in this or I had A's in that. As adults, a lot of us are seeing more and more every day how, as much as we were so proud of our own academic performance when we're in school, we're needing more and more skill sets that we're just learning. Things like emotional intelligence, teamwork, empathy. Those are things that clearly stand out as skill sets that you would need on a daily basis if you're to navigate life successfully. So indeed, beyond the academic, beyond the report card, like the title says, it's important to build other important skills. And the first, which we have in today's topic, is character. So when we say character, what exactly do we mean? And as parents, how can we help build character? The first is that we build character by realizing that character is what makes up an individual. Yes, every child was born with their own personality, and the personality greatly influences the character, and that reflects on how they behave. But there are fundamental building blocks that can help us to mold a child's character. So the first thing that science has taught us, both emotional psychology and even cognitive science, the first thing we've learned is that character can be molded, and the youngest time of a child's life is usually the best time to mold their character. So if you're here and you have children who are ages 7 below, then they're still in the age of their character formation. But you see, even if you're here and your children are teenagers, it may not be as easy to mold their character, but it's still possible to influence their own ability to get interested in remolding their character. Because again, there is something as reparenting ourselves when we get to that level of self-awareness. So character is about behavior, and this is usually influenced by the foundational blocks, otherwise called core values, that every individual associates with. So when we say core values, what do we mean? Core values. The core means the main, the center, the most important. While values, you know, when we say something is valuable, I'd appreciate if every participant please ensures to keep their microphone muted. I think we have an Agara Oluwakemi. Kindly help mute your microphone. Thank you. Right. So when we say core values, the core of an apple is the center of the apple, the middle, the main part. So when we say core, we're talking about the foundation, the innermost part, the basic, the foundation. And when we say value, we're talking about something that's important. If you say, oh, I have this pen and it's so valuable to me, it means it's worth a lot. And it is something that means a lot to you. You wouldn't want to lose something valuable to you. But if you say, oh, this pen is worthless, it doesn't mean anything to me, then you won't mind losing it. So when we say core values, we're talking about the most important things to different individuals. So it is the core values that we all have as individuals that will help us to behave this way or that way. The same thing for our children. It is very possible for us as parents, especially like I said, from their early years, to influence their core values, to project values that they would see, that they will emulate, and they would understand. And children at that age, the very first years, 0 to 6, they're constantly soaking up. Science has told us that the brain of a child at that age is like a sponge. They're soaking up, and their hearts or their, would I say, character plate is plain. It's a tabula rasa, and they're only imbibing the things they see around them. In all ways, language, if you're speaking English to your children, they will grow up speaking English, even if that is not their mother tongue. If you speak, I am Yoruba, for example, if you speak Yoruba to your children, they will speak it perfectly well. So all of these things are the way that children grow. So it's important for us to realize that as parents, we are so important. We're a very, very, very important part of the equation that helps these children to build the character that eventually reveal when they're older. Again, when they're children, they're constantly looking up to us, and everything you say seems to be final. Even when you've done something to hurt your children when they're very little, they would cry, but they still come back running to you to hear you say sorry, because you mean the world to them. And at that time, they do not have a clear picture of the world out there. You are the entire world, and what you do matters a lot. And that's why we say children do not learn so much from what you say. They learn more from what you do, from the things that they see you do, from the things that you do even unconsciously. Because you see, as humans, there's certain things that we're able to quickly latch onto. And one of it is that even that small child that you have at home that you think, oh, this is just a child, he doesn't understand or she doesn't understand. Every human being has a very high level of psychology, ability to be able to read the mind of others, or to infer from what they see. So it means that as a parent, even when you're trying to hide certain things from your children, they can tell. They can tell. Sometimes your child tells you, mommy, please listen, daddy, please listen. And then you say, oh, yes, yes, I can hear you. And they say, no, you're not listening. They can tell that you're not paying attention, because that's some inherent things that human beings have the ability to do. So it's important for us to realize that as parents, to a very large extent, we can influence, mold, and determine the kind of character that our children will exhibit as they grow older. I'm going to cite one of my favorite examples, the examples of elephants in the circus. I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but as a child, I thought about it a lot. How come elephants rarely go wild in the circus? We even have lions, tiger come to the circus, and they cooperate. And you know, the reality I was very curious as a child. So of course, when I had access to information, one of the first things I explored was, why don't these animals ever rebel? Why are they always cooperative? Of course, once in a blue moon, something goes wrong. But 90%, 95% of the time, things go perfectly well. You see, the truth is that when these animals were caught from the wild, in the forest, in the bush, they are usually taken when they're extremely young. For the elephants, within the first week of life, they're taken away from their mother and they're put in a place where they do not see other elephants do anything. Now, an elephant typically can bring an entire tree down with just the trunk, or even use his leg or something. But this animal doesn't get the opportunity to see other elephants do that. And of course, when the baby is very young, weak, what they do is they tie a rope to its leg and tie it to a very thin standing piece of wood. And then the elephant tries to run away over and over, discovers that it can't. It couldn't because it was young and feeble, but it doesn't know that. And so by the time the elephant grows up big and strong, it assumes that it doesn't have the capacity to do all of those things. And it listens to the human that he has been used to, controlling it and telling it what to do, how to move, how fast or how slow to move. And this tells us that as humans, if we can prime elephants, if we can prime tigers, if we can prime lions, it means we definitely can prime our children. But all these animals were taken from the wild when they were very young. That takes us again back to my point of, we can mold our children's character, we can influence who they become, especially if we start early by modeling the kind of character that we want to see. Now, the second key word in my topic tonight is purpose. What is purpose? Purpose is meaning, is the aim. If I say the purpose of coming here tonight, it means the aim of coming here tonight. It means what I'm trying to bring out. It's like the core, back to our core that we talked about before. Purpose sounds like a very, very big word. And for us as adults, we assume that children can rarely find purpose. We assume that when we're talking about purpose, we're probably talking about adults alone, but not so. If we look at history, there's been so many stories around children who had purpose from early on in life. And what that did was it gave them a higher probability of becoming successful, because from early on in life, they were able to target, this is my aim, this is my goal, this is who I want to become, and I'm going to go all out for it. One of our favorites is the story of Barack Obama. We heard that when Barack was just 5 years old, he told his mother, Mama, I want to become the president of the United States someday. And that sounded like a child who didn't know what he was saying. But you and I know the rest of the story, right? So it's important that we realize that it is possible. I say for purpose, the first destination is we should know that it's possible for children to have purpose. And we are the ones to handle them through this process of finding themselves. So when we're talking about purpose, we're talking about knowing that you're here in this world for a reason. That can't happen if these children do not even know themselves. So how or what age? Parents sometimes ask me that, when is the earliest age that a child can find their purpose? And I always respond, there is no fixed age for purpose. A child will find their purpose as soon as they attain a particular level of self-awareness, because purpose begins from knowing yourself. Purpose begins from understanding that this is me and this is where I make a difference. Purpose begins from, I am the only original. There's 7 or 8 billion people in the world and nobody shares my fingerprints. And that tells me that there's something very different about me. And then realizing that there's a world beyond their nose. So basically self-awareness and the world awareness. Those two things help with purpose. Realizing that there's just a lot more than what I see through my eyes, and it is possible for me to see through my mind, to envision the world and see how I can make a difference by contributing my own skill set, my own strengths to making the world a better place. And of course, this will come from having conversations with our children. Too many times, too many parents are too busy to have conversations with children. And you know, there's this thing that says children will not remember the presents that you gave them. They will remember your presence, because what children need isn't presents, it is presence. Presence with a TS, presence with a CE. They need you to be available. They don't need you to buy them gifts. Of course, children love gifts. So I don't mean that we can't buy gifts, but I mean that our gifts are very important, but our presence is even more important. And too many times, if children really understood, they would rather have you available than have gifts that cannot take your place. So it's important for us to know that to help our children build purpose for their lives, we need to have conversations with them. We need to share stories with them. We need to tell them about when we were their age. And you know what that does when you tell a child, if you have an 8-year-old, for example, and you tell them about what you did when you were 8 and how the world was when you were 8, their mind travels to the past. They can't see it, but their mind will imagine and create a picture of it. When the mind is able to wander in these creative patterns, what happens is the body begins to increase in its level of self-awareness. And when self-awareness increases, the world awareness will begin to increase. Your child will then realize, oh, there hasn't always been this. Oh, there hasn't always been that. Oh, in the olden days, there were no mobile phones. People just had to visit family and friends, hoping that they'll meet them at home. Or people wrote letters and it took several months for these letters to arrive at the destination. Or people wanted to travel overseas and it took several months because there were no airplanes and it was just, traveling by sea or whatever it was, maybe even traveling by road, and it was very tough. So all these conversations build maturity. They build emotional maturity. They build emotional regulation, because as you're telling the stories, your child is imagining and they're beginning to attain a deeper level of understanding the world, which is world awareness, and they're beginning to understand their own, path in all of this, which is self-awareness. And eventually your child gets to that tipping point where they find their own purpose. And this can be as early as possible, earlier than you think. You don't want to assume that it was just a coincidence that Barack said he wanted to become the president of the United States at age 5. And we've heard other stories like this before. So it's possible for children to attain a level of awareness when it comes to having purpose when we start early. We also want to expose them to things that can help them realize that they have a part to play. I tell young people that life is like a big, 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 big jigsaw puzzle, and every single child is like one piece of jigsaw. The pieces look alike, but no piece fits exactly into another. And that means that you want to help your child to begin to realize that they are different, not coming from a place of arrogance, not coming from a place of looking down on others, but coming from a place of uniqueness, coming from a place of realizing if I'm unique, if I'm different, then I need to find exactly where I should be in this big, big jigsaw puzzle. So that is what takes us to the last part of the topic, which is contribution. So how can children contribute? Again, when we think about contribution to the world, to making the world a better place, we usually think that adults can do a lot. Yes, adults can do a lot, because as adults, we have the freedom to move about, we have the financial resources and so many other things that children may not necessarily have. But trust me when I say that it's very possible for a child to be able to contribute to making the world a better place. And for most of the adults that you see who are contributing to making the world a better place, they actually started from childhood, if you care to listen to their childhood stories. So that tells you that adults do not magically become impactful It begins from childhood. And as a parent, beyond the report card, you have an obligation to help your child to contribute to the world. There's so many things going wrong in the world, and there's so much difference that children can make. But how can children do such a big thing as making the world a better place? Again, we have to cut this down, layer it down, make it easy for us to comprehend. Contributing to the world starts from giving your children responsibility. Again, is there a certain age where a child is too young to have any responsibility? No. So even from the toddler years, let your child see you fixing things and you say, oh, your cup, bring your cup. Oh, give them responsibility. Don't fix life for them. Don't do everything for them. When you do everything for your child, you're telling that child, look, I will always be there. I'm a fixer. And then when they're 18 or 22, and you want them to stand up for themselves and do something for humanity or even for family, they look at you like, but you're the fixer. Why aren't you fixing it? And at that age, you're probably in your 50s or so, and then you're not as strong as you used to be. And then you're getting bitter or upset. I mean, we don't want any of that to happen. And that's why it's important to learn that we should give responsibility to children as soon as possible. One of the most structured and coordinated ways to give children responsibility is through house chores. And I can't say this enough. I can't emphasize this enough. Research has shown globally, all over the world, we all know the favorite Harvard research that shows that the best way to teach children resilience, to teach children empathy, to teach children grit, perseverance to succeed is through house chores. I know it sounds too simple to be true, but honestly, that's the truth. Children learn to multitask, they learn to struggle, they learn to sweat it out, they learn so many things through house chores. But of course, they also learn responsibility, which is what we're saying eventually leads to their ability to be able to contribute. You know, my little son once asked me, he had to wash his plate. And I asked him to wash his sister's plate and his brother's plate as well. And he says, but why do I have to wash their plates? Everybody use their plate. They should all wash their plates. And I said, well, how about thinking about how you ate that food? Your sister made the food. She didn't make for just herself. She made for you. She made for your brother. Think about it. And when we needed to refill the gas for the cooker, your brother went to get the gas. He, came back with it, and it was used not for just himself, but for everybody else. So how about you do this for everybody else? Honey smiled, nodding like, okay, makes sense. My sister did it for us. My brother did it for us. I better do it for us as well. And you see, through this, you're teaching the child to be responsible. You're also teaching the child to be empathetic, to put themselves in other people's shoes. You're also teaching that child to realize that we live for other people. And that's the way they begin to contribute. They begin to realize that they can't leave the world alone, and the world does not revolve around them. These days, we're having a lot of struggles as parents around entitlement. When I was a child, if my mother had said, go wash your plates and your siblings' plates, there's no way I'm asking her why. There's no way I'm telling her, why can't they wash their plates themselves? It wasn't something that occurred to us because the world was very different. But the child today will ask you questions and you don't have to take offense. Instead, explain it to them why it has to be so. Because when you do, it sticks. So what we see is a lot of struggle around the entitlement. We say children these days are very entitled. But guess what? We created the entitled world for them to find it easy to get entitled. And as parents, our obligation again is to nip this in the bud when we identify these issues. So when my son asked me, why should I wash my sister and brother's plates? I wanted to get upset, but I reminded myself, if he could ask me, I better seize this golden opportunity to have a conversation about how you can't leave the world alone. You don't want to wash your siblings' plates? Okay, how about your sister cooks only her food? How about your brother buys gas just enough for his own food? But I didn't say it that way. Instead, I cited examples of how all the other members of the family were all working together to ensure that things were fine, and how he also could contribute his own quota, even though it was just a child. And that's how we begin to help our children realize that they have a part to play and they can contribute to making the world a better place. So again, we have talked about character, we've talked about purpose, and we've talked about contribution. And we're saying that beyond academic performance, there's something that academic performance, finishing from the university with a distinction will I'm using might because now we have organizations that are doing beyond academic tests to get into the workplace. They do emotional intelligence tests and other things, but let's even assume that the academic performance gets a child into a young adult rather into the workplace. We know that to retain that work, to be able to excel on the job, that individual needs a lot more than academic performance. That's where EQ rather comes in. And now there's what we call AQ, which is the adaptability quotient. So it's not just important for a child to be cognitively intelligent, it's also important that that child is self-aware, that individual is self-aware, is also aware of social cues, is also aware of relationship with people, is also aware of the world around, and is able to navigate using this. And then, of course, that individual is able to adapt, is able to remain resilient, is able to stay gritty, even in the face of uneventualities or difficulties. Because as humans, again, we know that life will never be a bed of roses. And even then, we say roses have thorns. So even if life were to be a bed of roses, there will be situations that will be tough, that will not exactly be palatable, and children must be able to navigate. So it's important that we realize that character is built in the ordinary moments. A child is not going to build character because you sit them down and give them lectures. Especially mothers, we're very fond of that. We sit down, this child, do you want to kill me? We go on and on and on. Most times our children shut down before we go halfway because they already know we're about to start ranting. So it's not about lectures. It's about ordinary moments of watching you, of being modeled, of you modeling what it is that you want them to do. And we also need to allow our children to explore. They should explore and make mistakes. Let's allow them to build their skill set. Let's allow them to build their confidence. Let's allow them to see that, yes, I did this, I didn't get it right, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to try again and again and again. And it can start from things as simple as tying their own shoelace or trying to zip up their own bag instead of, oh, it'll be faster if I try. It'll be faster if I help you. Come, let me help you. Come, let me help you. No. It would not help them eventually. And it would make them feel that you would always be there to fix things for them. So we need to get our children to a level where they're asking themselves, what problem can I solve? How can I make the world a better place? What contributions can I make to this world? And of course, one way to build character, and I say this to parents, it sounds academic, but I tell you that it's one way to build character, to build purpose, and to build contribution. Let them read. Let them read books outside of academics. Buy them almanacs, buy them fact books, buy them very engaging, colorful dictionaries. Children love to go through dictionaries. They look at the picture, they learn new words, they ask you questions. They ask you, oh, how did you survive? I was at a program last week and a child asked me, how did you survive without the internet? How did you do your homework? Because now we use the internet to do our homework. And I was so excited. I said, that's such an intelligent question, because her mind traveled back to the past. She tried to create a picture and something wasn't fitting in. How did people survive in those days? So I told her how, if you had a homework, if you couldn't answer it independently, then you would ask your parents, You would check up your encyclopedia, you check up your dictionaries, you check up books that you have at home. If you had a neighborhood library, you'd visit. And, you know, she was just looking like, oh, really? Oh, really? And as she was listening, her mind was traveling back and she was attaining a higher level of world awareness and ultimately self-awareness. So it's important for us to allow children to explore and make mistakes. It's important for us to have conversations with children. If you've observed children that spend time with a lot of adults and having wise conversations usually grow very matured. And then, of course, we need to build responsibility early by introducing house chores. And there's an age-appropriate house chore for every age, I tell you. So even a two-year-old who's walking all over the house, you can sing a song. Okay, sweetheart, it's time to clean up all of this. You've played and you've had a nice time. Come, let's clean up, clean up, clean up, everybody, everywhere. And you're picking, and as you're picking, your child is looking at you smiling. Give it a few days. Your child would not need to look at you. Your child will hear that song and automatically begin to pick things up even at age 2. And then, of course, as they grow older, you increase responsibilities. Teenagers love independence. So give them a responsibility like plan our next family trip. And they're like, oh my God, mommy, do you mean it? Oh my God, well, I want us to go. They will be very excited because it's age appropriate. But of course, when you tell a teenager, go wash plates, they're going to squeeze their face. They don't have a choice, right? But also give them age appropriate chores that will challenge them, because what you want is for them to begin to learn responsibility and learn that they have a part to play, which ultimately will help them to be able to increase their ability to contribute to making the world a better place. Keep modeling what is right for your children, have conversations with them, answer their questions. Do not prove that you know everything. It's okay to apologize when you're wrong. You are human, they're human. If you've wronged them, please apologize. I know it doesn't sound very African, and I get, attacked a lot when I say apologize to your children. But I mean it. I apologize to my children. I still have a little boy who's 8, and I apologize to him when I'm wrong, because I can be wrong because I'm human. It's important that they know that we are humble enough to say we're sorry when we do the wrong things. What it teaches them is that they should also acknowledge when they're wrong, and they should apologize when the need arises. Because in building character, in building purpose and contribution, we need to raise children that are also humble. We cannot afford to have children who are arrogant or they look down on other people. Apologizing doesn't mean that you're less of a person. It means that you acknowledge that you were wrong and you're taking responsibility and you're holding yourself accountable. So I'm going to stop here. And I understand that I am able to take question and answers. I'll hand over back to our anchors. Thank you all very much for listening. And I hope you've been able to take 1 or 2 things away. Thank you. Over to you, Ms. Baraka and Coach Zaria. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We have learned a lot, even in my old age. I've picked some nuggets here and there. As much as you said that parenting is an ongoing learning process. You don't know it all. You learn as you go. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite questions from our dear parents who are listening very intently so that we can have answers from our keynote speaker. Parents, if you are ready with questions, you just raise up your hands and unmute yourself so that we can ask questions. Let's participate. Yes.
Thank you so much for the insightful session, Ma. We really appreciate you for that. So you could raise your hand or send your message, your question to the chat if you have question. You could react by raising your hand. Okay, we have one person already. Okay. Okay, so I'll hand over to Coach Zaria.
Let's have Rashid. You can unmute yourself and may give us your question. Rashid, your hand is up.
Okay, thank you very much. I was trying to unmute myself.
Okay.
So thank you very much. It was a very, very insightful session. During the speech, during the talk, the speaker mentioned a very important it's a topic now or subtopic that talks about adaptability quotient. She mentioned a number of things, talked about responsibility, building character, the fact that only intelligence is not enough. And I think a lot of us have to learn the hard way that this is, it's not enough just to be intelligent, not to be brilliant, but there are other things that are required at the workplace. So it would be good if she can throw some more light on the adaptability quotient apart, outside of emotional intelligence or emotional quotient. That's my question.
Thank you, Sam. Ma'am, would you like to take or you want another question?
I think I would like to take all the questions and then I'll respond all together.
Okay, thank you so much. Let us have Shams.
Thank you very much for that session. Very brilliant session. I wish I'd listened to you like 20 years ago. I just wanted a little contribution. I live in the UK and my children are all adults now. They're all over 22. The youngest is 22 years old and married. Therefore, I just want to say one thing about raising children with character and upbringing. It is so important that you actually engage with your children, that you talk to them. The speaker was talking about age-related chores, age-related assignment, age-related. I've seen African parents dealing with 16 years old as if they are 6 years old. I've seen African parents dealing with 20 years old as if they are still teenagers, as if they are 12 years old. And this is so important that we actually take care of our children in an age-related way. We say something in Islam about the 777, the first 7 years that you actually play with them. You are rolling on the floor with them. You are down to earth. You are just joking and playing and teaching them in a joking way with them. The next 7 years, you are teaching them, giving them boundaries, guiding them, disciplining them. And then from age 14 and above, you treat them as your deputy, as your assistant. If they ask any question, don't dismiss it. Answer the questions directly. If they want to try something out, if it's not going to cut off their hand and head and leg, let them try it out. That is how they learn that something doesn't work. And it is so important that you engage with them and you're there with them and you're supporting them through this learning process. My son came from university after graduating and he came home and he said, why is this not fixed? Why is that not fixed? I said, it's all waiting for you. Let's do it Saturday morning. I brought out the tool and we started fixing things. And he said, no, this should come because he studied engineering. This should come before that. We should do this. I said, really? Okay, let's try it. And we tried it and it didn't work. And he said, okay, let's do it my own way. And we tried it and it worked. That happened 3 times that Saturday morning. And therefore, he learned that my experience is not for nothing. It counts for something. And it is a life lesson. And you only deal with them. They learn these lessons when you engage with them. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir, for the wonderful contribution. We are learning. Let me call upon Dr. Raim. Where have you gone? Okay, let us have Olalade.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yeah, very well. Thank you so much for so I don't know, it's very inspiring. So what I would just like to ask is what's it called? She talked about what's it called? Age appropriate chores. I'll share the chores as in according to the age, just like what she said, the age appropriate chores so we'll know okay what age is responsible for this one and this one. So we'll really appreciate the chores for the age appropriate.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we have about 2 questions in the chat.
Okay.
We have about 2 questions in the chat.
Yeah, I saw them. I have them down.
Okay,
Right?
all right.
Yeah. So can I go ahead?
Yes, you can.
All right. Thank you to all those that asked questions, and thank you to my big brother and mentor who gave that very insightful contribution. Thank you, sir. I think I'll start from the rear. A parent is asking here, how do I make my teenage boys to take instructions without stressing? I have imbibed the culture of practicing what I want them to do. Take for example, I guess, praying times. I'll begin Salah right before them and they'll wait to be reminded. Right. So the first challenge there is that you're saying, how do I make my teenage boys take to instruction? Teenagers do not like to take to instructions. So the instruction age is when they were younger. Now they're teenagers. There's nothing teenagers want as much as independence. In fact, if you remember when you were a teenager, except you were not a very, I don't want to say troublesome teenager, but for teenagers, if they wanted to go do something and their parent reminded them, they will go back because they don't want it to seem like they're doing it because you said so. They want power. They want independence. So the solution is not in you instructing them. The solution is in you helping them to see the why. Because now they're transiting. As teenagers, they're already on the bridge between childhood and adulthood. They want that independence. So give them, if it's around prayer times, like the example you gave, give responsibility. And then, okay, so you'll be the one to, get us ready for this prayer time and you're going to coordinate. They love to coordinate. They love to be in charge. So give them that so you make them see it from another angle. So that rather than look at it like I'm doing this because my mom says so, it becomes, I am the one making the rest of the family do this. And that's what I think would help you in that regard, not just for prayer times, but for anything at all when it comes to the teenagers. And for those of us with younger children, it's better to use the instruction years for instructions. And that was why I gave the example of the elephant and the other animals in the circus. When they're young, they'll do anything you tell them to do. Even when you upset them, they'll still come back to you to get that sorry and that warm hug. But when they become teenagers, you need to have more conversations. You need to have more negotiations. I know that sounds like something that's making the round on the internet. They call it, is it soft parenting or something? I mean, I know it sounds like it, but honestly, it's nothing like it. You need to be firm, but you have to be ready to negotiate when you're dealing with teenagers. You can't win it all. It's no more because I said so. It's now that you would have trained them to attain independent thinking, and you can actually have conversations with them. Yeah, and that's why you should also have age-appropriate techniques for dealing with challenges. Then there's another question here in the chat box that says, how do you handle a child who rebels against you just because his schoolmates' parents allow them to do what you would not allow him to do? So this is where self-identity comes in. Your children need to know that they don't have to be like others. And that's why from a young age, you need to start working on self-awareness. So when my second son was in secondary school, he came to me one day and said, Mom, I'm the only one without a phone in my class. And he said it from a place of pain, not anger, but pain. And I said to him, you want a phone? He said, yes. I said, okay, but you know the family rules. You get your phone when you're done with secondary school. And says, but everybody in my class has got one. And I said, well, yes, but I'm sure there's nobody in your class whose mom's name is Eniola Shakira and is exactly like me. So because you're the only one of your mother's child in that class, it's okay to stand out. It's okay not to be like others. It's okay to be different if there's a reason for it. So is there a reason why we agreed on this and this and this? Yes, there's a reason. Okay, and we already started having conversations about phone usage, internet usage, way before they had their own gadgets. So they knew that having the gadgets were responsibility. So it wasn't, oh, freedom. No, it was, oh, I have this. How am I going to use this tool? So we reminded ourselves of what the issues were. And he says, okay, mommy, this isn't easy, but I will keep trying. So because he had a level of understanding. So what I see here is that your child isn't convinced about why he should do things differently from his classmates. You have to help him with self-identity. You have to help him realize that everything that he has to do, every core value you've always preached, every behavior that you exhibit or you require him to exhibit, there's a reason, a deeper meaning for it. And what that does is it gives a level of confidence that I don't have to be like others. In fact, he will begin to look at others and feel sorry for them, because then he understands that this is some kind of self-destruction. You need to also introduce your children to things like, what's this thing called again? Delayed gratification. Yes. And that's part of what I'm going to talk about in the adaptability quotient question. Delayed gratification helps that you don't have to get it now. You can get it later. A marshmallow test was done, I think in Stanford, I'm not certain now, but a marshmallow test was done for preschoolers in a university. And the goal was to see how many children would wait for, okay, so a marshmallow will be put in front of them in a room without a lot of distractions so that they're focused on the marshmallow. And then the research was to see how many of these preschoolers would wait for the time that they've been told to wait in order to get another marshmallow as a reward and then eat the two. The alternative, of course, was to eat the marshmallow at the moment and then lose the opportunity for the second one. And this research was a longitudinal research. And it was discovered that the children who could wait to get the second marshmallow actually had a higher chances of success when they became adults. So again, it shows that delayed gratification is important. So how you teach this to your child is from a very young age. You don't need to give them everything they want. They want something, you think they shouldn't have it, it's okay to say no. And it's okay for them to cry when you say no. Because again, as parents, sometimes we're almost like creating double standards. You say no, the child is crying, and then you say, why are you crying? What did you expect? The child wasn't going to give you a thumbs up. They wanted something, you said no. So it's okay for the child to cry. It's just a natural response to what you said. So when children learn early in life that they don't always get everything they want, that there's a reason why they have to wait sometimes, you would be able to explain easily why they don't have to be like, why you don't have to be like the parents of their classmates, because those ones have reasons for doing what they are doing, and you also have your own reasons for doing what you're doing. And every family has got their own values, and this will be different from family to family. So that's how I'll answer that question. And then there was another question about how do you achieve being fair among children if their personalities are very different? Okay. Yes, I know that sometimes children feel like they're not treated fairly, but I would say that it's possible to attain justice or fairness even if their personality differs. The important thing to do is, what does this child need? As parents, sometimes we miss out on a few details, but you see, parenting is a learning experience. Yes, even now I am learning. Yes, I did say I have an 8-year-old, but the next to him, I mean, the one just before him is 18, and the rest of them are all adults. So having a little child now is a different ballgame for me, and I'm learning a whole lot, you know? And the honest truth is, even for the ones that are adults, it's my first time being an adult parent, and it's different, and you're still learning. So there isn't such a thing as I know it all. And what that means is that when your children let the space, let the hair at home be safe enough for them to have conversations and tell you, I think this was unfair. And then you explain to them why that had to happen. Because there's certain things that you may miss out. I'll give you an example. Maybe you have 2 children and you're giving this child a double dose of milk compared to the other one, because this one has got a calcium deficiency or something like that, because the doctor, the doctor has instructed that you give a higher dose, but that child doesn't know it. And you skipped mentioning it to your children. One child should be able to feel comfortable enough to say, but mommy, why? You're giving me double what you're giving my brother or sister. Or the other child should be able to say, mommy, why? You're giving me half of what you're giving my siblings. And then you expect, oh, actually it's because of this and that. But you see, you could have missed that detail out. But if the hair is too stiff and you are the very authoritarian type, you can't question anything I do. You will be missing out on opportunities to ensure that you're fair. But you see, even when their personalities differ, the standards in your house should be the standard. And this means that you've done something wrong. When my children were younger, one of them said, oh, why am I always the one being punished? And I said, okay, when you do something wrong, do you expect somebody else to get punished on your behalf? You should stop doing the wrong thing. I said, okay, look at this, for example. You didn't wash your plates when you were supposed to. A natural consequence of that is that you're going to miss the evening TV show. It's just normal. If only you washed your plate, you would have had the opportunity to watch with everybody else. So we also need to help children with perspective and thinking in a way that's logical, so they can see the pattern and they understand that this is not injustice or being unfair. This is just how things are. Yes. I hope I've answered that question. Aside that, we have the question of the age-appropriate chores. It might be difficult for me to tell you all the possible chores for different age groups, but what you need, and I bet you that even AI can generate that for you. If you just say, can you generate age-appropriate chores for ages, maybe toddlers, for middle age, for preteens, I'm sure it will give you like loads, but just to give you an idea of how to create tasks at home. So you want to look at what every child is interested in at different age groups and use that to create appropriate chores for them. Teenagers, they love freedom, they want power, they want to be in charge, they want to spend money. So give them activities around that. Give them activities around planning things. I started that quite early with my teenagers. Okay, you're planning this, you're doing a lot of the things that, adults do in the house. Okay, you go do this. Even, recharging the meter credit for electricity, all of that, just do it. And, budgeting for the house, we're buying this, we need to know the cost, how much do you have left? Expose them to these things early. And then for the younger children, they love to participate in the house. They want to be amongst. So we're talking about rearranging the house. Okay, so we're going to have a different arrangement. We want to put that sofa there, or we're changing the sofa colors, or we're going to the market. They love to go to the market. Teenagers, well, except if you're buying stuff for them, they really don't like to go into the market. So the ones that are preteens and a little lower, you want to take them to the market, you want to take them for shopping, you're buying groceries and other things. And then, of course, for the little ones, they love play a lot. Play is their way of learning. So a lot of your chores should be around play. It should be around tidying up their room, tidying up the sitting room, doing different stuff that can help. And then, of course, assisting mommy in the kitchen. So there's a particular age where children always want to come into the kitchen. Please don't send them out. Of course, there's sometimes where you're frying or there's something hot and you want them to stay out of the kitchen. But besides that, don't make it a permanent, I've told you not to come into the kitchen, leave. No, please. Allow them into the kitchen. Let them come and wash plates when you know those plates won't be clean. So that by the time they're ready to wash clean plates, they already know that's part of their chores. But when you chase them out when they want to wash, and then when they're already used to, mom is not going to allow me, then you say, come and wash plates. They're looking at you like, no, I don't want to do that. So get a stool for them, let them stand on the stool and wash plates, and they're having fun. And you're making a very fun activity out of that, so that when they get to the age, they'll be able to. And then final question is the adaptability quotient. So like the name implies, being able to adapt, being able to find yourself, being able to deal with change. And of course, this starts from exposing our children to both palatable and non-palatable situations, even if you have to create it, because somehow Today's world is so different. And because children have a lot of comfort, somehow they get so averse to discomfort. They get so extremely affected by stressful situations. And more than ever before in the history of mankind, we're having more cases of teenage depression, even childhood depression, and so many other mental health challenges. So when we say adaptability quotient, we're talking about the ability of an individual to adapt to different situations. And one of the things to teach our children is not to get fixated on anything. Take, for example, food. There are too many picky eaters in today's world, too many. And I have a problem with that. And it has a psychological implication. What is the psychological implication? A child is picky with food. I don't want this food. I'm not allergic, but I don't want it because I don't like it. What that child is learning from being picky is that in life, you can choose only what you're comfortable with. And these children will begin to learn that when they get to school, they can afford to dislike the subject or dislike that subject. They can afford to dislike this teacher or dislike that teacher. And you know what research is showing is that pickiness from food gives rise to pickiness in other areas. Even as adults in the workplace, they have a problem with one colleague or the other because I don't like this person, I don't like that person. And one of the best and first lessons to learn when it comes to adaptability quotient is helping your child to realize it's okay to have a best food. I also have a best food, but it's not okay to reject a food because you don't like it. Not liking it, fantastic, fine. But every day cannot be your best food. So it's okay. If you're not allergic, you will eat it. So we should have family times where we actually, so, you know, parents say, so where do you give them the freedom to choose what to eat? And I say the freedom comes from allowing them to make the timetable in the first place. But when we make the timetable, we agree. Sunday morning, we're having bread and egg. We all have to agree. It's okay if somebody doesn't like bread. She gets to choose if her favorite is rice. Then we can have rice for lunch. And if somebody else's favorite is bread, you've got your favorite for breakfast. So take somebody else's favorite for lunch. We cannot have the same. I mean, we can't say because in this house, my favorite is bread, her favorite is rice, his favorite is beans. We're going to make 3 different meals. We are shortchanging our children when it comes to adaptability quotient. It's okay for change to happen. It's okay to feel uncomfortable sometimes. It's okay not to like the food. It's okay not to like the environment. It's okay not to like, but you have the ability, you're human. You have the ability to cope and you will be fine. Nothing's going to happen to you. But when we want to fix everything, oh, that's not what you want to eat. Oh, it's okay, I'll get it for you. Oh, this is what you want to eat. Some children will tell you, I eat rice, but not this way. I want my rice in a certain way. Even if we can afford it, what we're doing to the children is we're teaching them, you don't have to adapt. Let life adapt to you. But in reality, we know that we can't always predict what the future holds. In 2020, when the pandemic hit, nobody was expecting it. And no matter how rich you were at the time, no matter how influential you were, you could just not help your child with certain things. So we all had to adapt. We all had to use the face mask. It was tough. The first time I used it, I told myself, there's no way I'm using this. I can't breathe. I can't. But I used it. And when the pandemic was over, we struggled again to drop using it. And you see, that's human. We can adapt to any situation. And we need to teach our children that early. And for me, one of the best lessons is helping children to realize that there's no room for picky eating. If you have an allergy, that's completely understandable. If you don't, so when my children say, oh, mommy, you know, I don't like, I say, oh, yes, I know. And that's why you should take just a little. And when it's your favorite, then you can take a lot. But you're going to eat it because that's what's on the timetable. And every couple of months, yes, we're allowed to change the timetable. We shift it again. But because everybody at home cannot like the same thing, there'll always be one person having to manage at some time.
So much, Mom.
Introducing them to
Type.
Okay. Yeah. I believe I've answered all the questions. Yes, I see the new comments in the chat box, but I'm not even going to open it. Thank you so much. Over to you. Uncle, are you there? Miss Baraka, Coach Zaria.
Thank you, Dr. Mrs. Olajobi. I hope I pronounced it well.
Good try, good try, good try.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. We are just so short of time. Otherwise, there were some questions again in the mailbox there. Anyway, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Thank you. We have learned a lot. Like I told you earlier on, even at my old age, I'm learning. I've learned something. Thank you so much, ma'am. We really enjoyed your presentation and we have gained the adaptability quotient. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Welcome to Debo Africa, modern healthcare built by women for women. We get it. Life can be hectic and unpredictable. We know what it's like to push back a much-needed health check for months because of family or work or because you just supporting the right healthcare provider. Debo Africa was founded by African women because we understand the unique needs and challenges they face, and we believe that all African women deserve access to better healthcare, no matter who we are. With our virtual medical consultations, we have bridged the gap between your busy life and your healthcare. At Debo Africa, you can easily access expert medical advice from our community of Debo doctors whenever you need it, without compromising on the quality of care. Join us on our mission to empower African women and transform healthcare.
Pass over to you. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing the acts with us, and thank you once again to our sponsors.
Nana,
So now we'll be going to...
yeah, do you have a minute to watch something or are you busy?
Please kindly mute yourself. So we'll be going immediately to the workshop session, and I'll be introducing our speaker, our facilitator now. She is Coach Ebi Sodia Ebenezer Bamigbayon, a multifaceted individual committed to positive transformation. Ebi Sodia is a remarkable individual devoted to making a positive impact on lives. With more than 10 years of experience in educational environments, she's a committed investor in transforming lives through mentoring, coaching, teaching, counseling, and positive psychology. She holds a Master of Science in Counseling and Positive Psychology as well as a postgraduate degree in teaching and learning from Manchester Metropolitan University. Her educational background and experience has positioned her as a thought leader in her field. As a dynamic keynote speaker, AB Sonia captivates her audience through her engaging storytelling approach. Let's jointly welcome Coach Sonia Abis as she takes us through the topic, how to help your child discover their strengths, interests, and purpose in the next 40 minutes. Thank you for joining us, Coach Abis Sonia. Can we welcome her with some reactions? Thank you.
Good evening,
Have the floor.
everyone. Thank you so much for thank you so much for that wonderful welcome. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining tonight. I've been asked to, and Coach Amina, thank you so much for giving me a platform. I've been asked to speak on how to help your children discover their strength, interest, and purpose. If you have a pen, this would be a good time for you to grab it, and a paper, and maybe a cup of tea or something to keep you well active. So today I'm going to be talking about observation, listening, exposure, and encourage. But before we proceed, I want you to think about one of your child if you have more than one. And in the chat box, I want you to write one word that describes your child. One word that you can use to describe your child. Just one word. Think about your children, just drop it in the chat. One word that you can use to describe your child. If you can, just drop it in the chat. I'm going to see one word that you can use to describe. Someone said energetic, yes. Observant, selfless, curious, intelligent, caring. Let's have more. Energetic again. One kid, intelligence, streets. Oh, wow. That's good. Loving, talkative. Okay, right. Organized, affectionate, independent. I can see at the top. Connie, okay. Femme, gentle. My Aminacho is adventurous, amazing. Artistic, empathetic. Please mute your mic if you are on the call. Please mute your mic. Independent, loving. That is absolutely amazing. You, caring, planner, amazing, independent. You are an amazing audience. Thank you so, so much. Now, when you think about your child, these are some of the things that you can notice about them. Someone said Voltrum. Okay, that's powerful. You need to think about your child because we're talking about their strength, their interest, their purpose. The first speaker has also explained what those words mean. I will dive a little bit into it. Well, I am a practitioner of positive psychology as well. And in positive psychology, there is a belief that everybody is born with 24 character strength. It is innate. It is inside of us. Thank you so much, Zariah. It is inside of us. We all have those character strengths. And in case you're wondering, what are those character strengths? They include appreciation of beauty. They include bravery, creativity, curiosity, fairness, forgiveness, gratitude, honesty, hope, humility, humor, sense of judgment, kindness, leadership, love of learning, perseverance, perspective, having different view about things, prudence, self-regulation, social intelligence, spirituality, teamwork, and energy, enthusiasm, some people might call it. So all of us have it, whether you're the father, the mother, or the child. We all have those character strengths in it. However, when they talk about nurture and nature, will help us to show certain more than the other. There are some people, you do something to them, they are so easy to forgive. Why some? They are not very good. It doesn't come easy to them. Some of them do not easily forgive. There are some children, they are very, very kind. I have 3 children, and their character strength is so different, absolutely different. None of them is alike. There's one of them, if your energy drop, you're looking sad, she picks it up and she's asking, are you okay? Are you okay? There's one that she's very independent. Whether when she was starting nursery, primary, secondary school, she's very independent. She would just march in and look back and say bye. She's fine, right? There is another that is also very, very caring. All of them are caring, but the level of care is different. They share, and they always want to be by your side. There are different strengths that our children have. And how do we begin to know this? As a parent, we have to be really observant. So I want to write the name of your children and just reflect. What have you observed? What strength, of all the strength that I've listed, what strength have you observed in your children? Is there a child that is very, very kind? They might all be kind, but it's one that a level of kindness is really, really higher than the others. Is there any one of them that is very spiritual? They like to spend time in studying. Because I always tell children, I go to schools to talk about how to improve their mental and emotional well-being. I will teach them about their character strengths. And there are some of the children that will tell you, they say their prayers, they study their word, and they are just very curious about what is it about us. They are good like that. Some of them, you have to remind them to do it, but some naturally they will do it. So I want you to write the names of your children and just reflect, what are the strengths that I've noticed about my child? Whether just being there when they're on their own, whether when they're interacting with other people. There's one of my child, she's always getting the Good Samaritan award in school. They have it in their school. So if someone falls down in the playground and she's nearby, she'll be one of the first person to run to go and help. So what kind of award do your child bring back from school? In your house of fellowship, what kind of award do your child bring back? When your child is in the group, whether the Boy Scout or Girl Scout, what kind of things do they call them out for? To say, oh, this child is very kind, this child is very observant. Write it down, begin to write it. Now, this is not a one-off. This is something that is consistent. A child that will step forward to want to take charge in doing things. Some people might call them bossy, but if you harness that strength in the right way, you will realize that that is a born leader right there. When I was a child, I was told that I speak too much, I talk too much. And a lot of people said, this one, you're going to end up as a lawyer. Did I go to school to study the law? Yes, I did. But trust Nigeria, there was a lot of strike. My dad got fed up and just said, okay, you both should just go out of the country to go and study where there will be no interruption. And that changed the trajectory. Now, when you look at it in retrospect, I'm still speaking. I'm a counselor, I will have to speak. I was once in the educational setting, I have to speak. So that speaking was not just for me to be a lawyer to defend people. That strength was in it, and I could deploy it in different places that I've been to. When I was in secondary school, I was in a debating club. I would represent my school, and I would find a way to present my argument that you will have to just go with me. So is there a child that you feel this one talks too much, you become a lawyer? No, that thing is in them. You might see them as being cunning because you cannot, there's a way they'll present things. No, it doesn't mean they are being cunning. They're just being clever in the way they present things. How do you harness that strength? Because any strength can become a problem. What can you do as a parent to begin to harness that strength and help them to guide them in the right way? We have to be very, 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 very careful that we do not break their gold just because everybody is saying they are too much of that particular strength. You may have a child that whenever there is things to do, you just be like, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Everybody, you're too forward. No, that child is a leader. Is not afraid to take responsibility. Allow them. There's no such thing as too much. Let them be. I have a child that is very strong-willed, but I have to harness it. I was not going to break her spirit because I was not intending to raise a people pleaser. So how do we harness that strength? Because with her, I know that friends will not just bend her head to go where she doesn't want to go. A friend will not tell her to come and vape, and she will vape because she will question it. A friend will not tell her, let's go out and hang out. You tell me you're in left, but I'll find you in the right. No. So you see, you have to find a way to harness it. So please, as you're talking, begin to write the names of your child and begin to write their strengths. Now, a strength is a positive quality, capacity or ability that has to be developed. There are some that are in it. There are some as a result of the environment that you're in. You are exposed to a lot of things and you begin to grow. Like my husband is very, very quiet, very laid back. He's into IT. We'll just be in the background doing his thing. But we've been married for 19 years. And now my husband is a speaker. It was not innate. It was something he had to build up as a result of other things that he was exposed to in the community and in his job. So now he's no longer just in the background. When there is need for him to speak and lead, he will do it. But his default is for him to be in the background trying to organize things. So what are the strengths that your child have naturally? And what are the things that you see that my child need to work on this? So you need to start identifying that. Then how can we build our children's interest? Interest is something that repeatedly attracts attention, curiosity, or enjoyment. Like me, my interests, one of them is nature. I love to be in nature. When you put me somewhere that have greenery, I'm like a child. I'm all over the place. I'm playing around. I feel peaceful. I feel really good. And how did that interest start? My dad. We had a massive compound when I was in Africa. And one side of the compound, my dad turned into vegetation where we'll do different farming. There are times where we just harvest everything and clear everything. We'll plant corns, we'll plant pineapple, we'll plant yam, we'll plant all sorts of things. And there is time. I would join in. I would use the hoe because I never liked the cutlass to till the ground, to plant. So now, even though I'm in the UK, I am a nature girl. Forget about the civilization. Put me in nature, I come alive. So what are the interests that your child like? I have brothers. My brothers, some of them like football. One of them like his computer. Another one was into his animals. He will bring all sort of animals home. There was a time monkey. They had to get him a monkey. We had dogs. We had turkey. We had chicken. We had all sort of animal. I was praying, this boy, please don't bring a snake home one day because I don't like snake. What are the interests? What are your children naturally interested in? You want to find their purpose? Study them. What are the interests? You give that boy money to go and buy things. I'm telling you, if you see where they are selling animals, it will bring animal home. There is another one, the computer. He can tear the radio apart and start fixing it. Naturally, what is he doing right now? He's an IT expert. He's an IT expert. There are some that were playing football. He would fall, he would break his hand. I have to back him and take him, rush him to the hospital. And then my parents, because there was no phone then my parents, the neighbors, will have to tell them, we've gone to the nearby hospital. He loved his football. Why he did not end up as a footballer, I would never know. But he loved this football. So what are the interests that your children generally just show interest in? Some of them might be baking. Some people might be baking. Do they enjoy cooking? Do they enjoy creating? What some of them are very good at creating things. You give them nothing, they create into something. What are your children interested in? Now, a purpose is a growing sense of meaning, direction, and contribution. Now, let's be careful with purpose because sometimes it seems like our parents have a way of imposing their purpose upon us, especially those that maybe their purpose, they were not able to achieve it. They will not say, you become a doctor. You know very well your child is not a science student. You say you're going to study medicine. The child is like, I don't want to do medicine. I say you're going to study medicine. Let's be careful that we do not leave our purpose on our children as weight. Because a purpose is a growing sense of meaning. What did they find meaningful? Because one thing I always tell people, I do not work a day in my life. And people feel like, Sonia, you play too much. No, I do not work a day in my life because what I'm doing is what I can do for free for a job. So the thing that that I'm earning from is something that I can do for free. So in a way, I'm being paid to do what I love. And again, it's back to that talking, counseling, speaking to people, or selling my books. So what is the purpose? You remember that talking? The talking that I said was one of my key strengths is connected to my purpose. What is that one thing that your child is connected to? Then the clues is the pattern. It's not something they will do in a season. I had a time where my daughters, they did a lot of things. A lot of things. They did a lot of things, but not all of them that they continue with. So what are the patterns? What is the pattern showing us? Purpose is not something we force onto our children. It's something we create an environment in, we observe, and we create an environment that will expose them to be able to explore it. If they carry on consistently with it, you will know it's directing them. There are some people that they cannot stand injustice. It doesn't matter who you are. If you are not treating someone nice, they will speak up for that person. Even if you are the parents, you are talking to their younger ones. I have a daughter that if I don't treat if she find that I'm not being fair, she'll come to me later and say, but Mom, you were not being fair to my sister. I said, what did I do? Then she will explain. People like that, they are people that they can stand. You can say, oh, they will make a good lawyer, they will make a great judge, but it doesn't stop there. They can make a whole lot of things with that. So you would need to say, am I discovering my child? Or am I trying to live my life through my child? Those are the questions that we're going to be asking. So now let's pause and begin to think. What is already showing up? I want you to start thinking about it. What is already showing up in my child that is consistent? A child that is very, very consistent. You see that strength in them over and over again, or an interest in them over and over again. I want you to think about it and drop it in the chat box. What are the things that you notice that your children are interested in? What are you exposing them to as well? Are you giving them the opportunity to expose them to loads of things to explore, whether it be drawing, whether it be reading? Like the first speaker said, expose them, not just books. My dad used to work in the Ministry of Education, so he will bring new books that has not even been in the shop. He will bring it. And I will be reading it. I will be moving around, reading it, even while I'm cooking, while I'm eating. My mom should get frustrated and take it. But now I'm an author. So it stems from that. What are you exposing your child? What are you exposing them? Are you taking them to the library? Are you taking them to the science museum? Are you taking them to festivals? Are you taking them to where there is loads of art? Are you taking them where there is greenery? Are you taking them to the airport? Even if you are not flying, there are programs they do in some airports where you can just bring them. I remember when I was younger, I went to Coca-Cola. Are you taking them to these places? Are you taking them to refinery? What are you exposing them to? And what are they showing interest in? There are loads of clues there. There are some jobs that your children will do. It doesn't exist yet. There is no title for it yet. So this is the reason why you have to broaden their mind. The mind does not know the difference between real and when you are visualizing it. You can talk to them about it. What would you like to be in the future? I do that with the children. I tell them, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out. Take a deep breath in and out. If there was nothing stopping you in the world, what would you like to be? Who would you like to be? What problem in the world disturb you that you like to solve? What are the things that you see around that you feel like, I can create a solution to this? And you see the children, I tell them, if you have to move your hand and begin to do all those things. And you see the children close their eyes in class, and some of them are pressing. And I'm like, okay, when they finish, what were you doing? And so I would say, I was building a skyscraper, and those buttons I was pressing was to help me, automate things. I'm like, okay, whatever your eyes can see, you can achieve. You have to see it first. Thank you very much, Abibat. She said, today my husband took our son to the bank and get him to write all the transactions. Fantastic. Your child might not become a banker, but your child do understand there is a reason why that has to be done. Will he become a banker? I don't know. But your child right now, why the friend are thinking of other things, he's already thinking, why am I writing this transaction down? You probably have a conversation with your husband about it. Why was I doing that? I want someone to unmute and let's share, let's talk. What is the one interest that you see your child doing? And you see that they can't stop. Even when you chastise them, you will find them doing it again. What is the one interest? I need someone to volunteer. Let's talk. I saw someone raise their hand before, but the hand has disappeared. The digital hand. Please unmute.
Good evening.
Good evening. Who is speaking?
Yes, I'm Dr. Raimi.
Hi, Dr. Raimi.
Nurse. My second child, she's an outside person, and she's quite energetic. Despite being a female, she likes to do things outside, likes to do male things. So when there are holidays, she's in the university already. When there are holidays, I make sure that she goes for computer classes and anything that will let her be outside the house. I try to invest in it, and I also make sure that I encourage her to attend all those fun events that they do in our department. Make sure I pay for it so that she's outside. She likes being outside. So let her be outside and have fun and network, and so that she can read well, because it's always been like that since she was even in secondary school. You can't pin her down to read. She has to miss a leisure with reading. She's not a read kind of a person, although she's very, very brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay. Is it Dr. Rabia?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You mentioned something. You said she's not a boy. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Yeah, it's stereotype. So can girls not play outside? Is it only boys? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Because when you say she's a girl, she plays outside. A lot of people used to call me a tomboy when I was younger. And like I said before, we had loads of, plants and trees in my compound, mango tree, guava tree, and all of that stuff. And if you are looking for me, don't look for me on the ground. I'm on the tree, shaking the guava, shaking the mango, shaking the orange, even though orange had a bit of spike in it. That was me. But now I'm very, very ladylike. So it seems your child is a free spirit. She's a free spirit, and there are different types of learners. I'll quickly run through it. There are some people that are very auditory. So they learn by just giving them instructions and they go with it. There are some, they are very, very kinesthetic. They learn with their hand. You listen to the language your children use. A child that is always saying, tell me, that's an auditory learner. A child that is always saying, let me do it, that's a kinesthetic learner. A child that is always saying, show me, that's a visual learner. So your child seems to be someone that likes to learn creatively. She's likely to be a kinesthetic learner because she's very outdoorsy person. Kinesthetic learner, they learn by getting their hands dirty. They just want to be there. And our networking skills, I call it a skill, is very, very vital. Those are people that they connect people, they are connectors. That's who they are. There are some people, they will be in a crowd, they will never speak to anybody. But your daughter, from the way you've described her, she will network, and that will help her to go a long way in life. So I'm really glad that you are encouraging her. So thank you so much for sharing that. Mommy Zitel, your hand is up. Please, can you unmute?
Yes, hi everybody. Good evening. My name is Love. I have a daughter, Zitel. She is 12 years old and currently in JSS2 now. She
Yeah.
doesn't like reading, which worries me so much. However, she's very curious and love learning about skincare products. You will find her on YouTube watching videos on skincare because she's been dreaming of owning her own product, skincare brand in the future. Most times you will see her in the kitchen experimenting. She will boil rice, use the water, mix it with honey, and be applying it on her face. She call it face mask, that it will make your skin to glow. I've tried to stop her because she's still very, very young. And she does not like reading. Always on either YouTube, tablets, researching about products. This is what I want to have in future, and it's really worrying me.
Mommy Zita, which part of that is worrying you?
The fact that she does not like reading, she doesn't like studying.
Okay. Thank you so much for your vulnerability. The thing is, she doesn't like reading. I don't think that quote is just too big.
Okay.
You said she love makeup. Have you ever bought her books about makeup?
No.
Please do. You'll be surprised your daughter will turn a reader overnight. Please do. Buy a makeup book. I don't know if you know Tara. Tara
Yeah, I know
Durrett.
Tara. Building Beyond You.
Take her to the place. Your daughter might be an entrepreneur, but you want to box her. You can't box her. She already know what she's going to be. Imagine if Barack, they say, president, you are a black man. And you want to be. Has any black man ever been a president? But he became a president right before our eyes, didn't he?
Yeah.
Your daughter might be the next business mogul for makeup. We don't know. So please, she doesn't read because you are giving her the book she's not interested in. Give her books that will teach her about makeup. She will start reading. We had someone that the son did not like reading, but he was interested in cars. What did we do? The mother started buying books about cars. And this boy, it was not difficult to put him down. He will carry the book. He's eating. He's with the book. He's doing all those stuff. He's looking at this thing. He's doing mood board with it. Please buy our books that will help her understand the skin. Buy our books that will help her understand makeup, not just skincare, but to be able to understand why certain product can be put in the skin and why certain product can't. That's curiosity. You are feeding her curiosity. You are pointing her to the direction she doesn't want to go. And that is the reason she's resisting. So if you allow her to blossom in there, let her, because to be honest, what she's already doing that is absolutely marvelous. Marvelous. When you talk about the rice water, what I know about it is rice water for helping your hair grow fast. Now your daughter is even a step ahead. She knows that you can
she
use it
added
for face
honey.
mask. Do you know how much these people make for our face? The skincare will never go out. She is not a user. She is a producer. She is ahead of her time. You didn't say she was applying. She is creating. That's marvelous.
Okay.
Absolutely marvelous. Please encourage her and be one of our first clients. Try out her products. Give her feedback.
Okay.
I'm telling you, give her feedback. You will see she will blossom. Buy her books on what she's interested in. Your daughter will become a reader overnight. Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you, Mom.
You're welcome. Ada Oma, please unmute and let's talk.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So it's my brother. He's autistic,
Mhm.
but he loves animations a lot.
Mm.
He doesn't love academics. He keeps to himself a lot. But when he's on the phone, let's say
Yeah.
if you bring him to learn to read, because he's 20 now, he's still learning to read. If
Mhm.
you bring him to learn to read or do things he doesn't love to do, he gets so bored and sleepy. But he
Mhm.
can stay on the phone watching cartoons and movies and even trying to mimic their voices sometimes. From morning till night. If you leave him, he can even stay till morning, like midnight. You have to be the one to chase him to go and sleep. And
Mhm.
he loves making things with his hands. He can pick random items that you don't know. You wouldn't have imagined something being done with it. And he'll build things that you'll be wowed at. Just like crafts. I don't know. He just makes things with it.
Yeah.
And he's very dedicated to those things. Games as well. Anything that has to do with thinking, gaming, even if it may prove hard, he's dedicated to playing the game to the end. It occupies him.
Yeah.
But bring that same difficulty to something else he doesn't love doing, maybe a house chore
Mhm.
or reading as well.
Yeah.
He will tell you, I can't do it. I can't do it on my own.
Yeah.
I may make a mistake. But such thoughts don't come when he's playing games or watching cartoons or making his crafts.
Yeah.
We're currently looking for a skill to place him in to help him
Yeah.
gain that confidence and perhaps some level of independence.
Fantastic. I'm glad that at least you are not trying to stop him. You're already trying to build on what is there. Like I said before, I practice positive psychology. And the difference between positive psychology and other forms of psychology is that we are not waiting to fix what's broken. We are building on things that is already a strength. So your brother is into automation. You said he's not interested in other things. There's something we call a state of flow. When you get into action, into the things that you love, you can be there, you lose track of time, you wouldn't know. Your brother gets into a state of flow by doing automation. So please find a way. It's not only university that can make us find our purpose. A lot of people now, even in global world, they are going into apprenticeship. Find something that will help your brother. While yes, it's good to get that result, fantastic. But please also nurture is naturally given talents and strengths. When you nurture it, you will see your brother will blossom. When you put nurture it, it will blossom. So please look around in the country, in your community, where it can nurture this and build on it. Because while others are studying to get into a state where your brother is already ahead of it. You don't need to compel him. Let me tell you something. I paid more than £3,000 for my daughter to do coding at a certain time. What if I tell you she now wants to do psychotherapy? Coding. Do you know how much I paid for that? Almost £3,000. But it was not something that she wanted to. I even told her today, I said, you will pay me that money when you start working. You will pay me my money. And as I'm talking to you right now, she's looking at me, giving me the stare. If you can hear her, she's chuckling. I paid that because I just saw a little thing. Exactly. Someone said one award for the best nominated voices. I don't know if you know Ellen. She's a comedian. Do you remember her? Ellen, the comedian? You know, she does the childlike voice. Do you know how
Oh,
much they
yeah,
pay her
yeah,
for
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. I think
You
I know
remember
her.
her, right? Do you know how
Yeah.
much they pay her for that? Do you know how much they pay her to do all of those voices? Your brother is onto something there. So please expose him, but please guide him. Because he said he's autistic. You don't want people to take advantage of him. Yes, Ellen Paul, thank you so much, Moje, right? So please, when you see all these things are innate, is innate. Anything that is innate and you build on it, you'll be ahead of those that are trying to learn it. And it's marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. I have an example here. Funny you asked that. A child who loves gaming, instead of asking, how do I stop? Ask, what is this interest telling me? Strategy games may reveal planning and problem solving. Someone that love games might be interested in planning and problem solving. My view games may reveal things, their creativity. They might also be good at communicating in a different way that is so different from all of us. Leadership, collaboration, coding as well need a lot of attention to be able to code. So please expose him to things that will help him to soar and fly.
Yeah, I took him to an autism conference that was held by GT Bank. And there we met someone who offered she heard he loves tech and gadgets.
Yeah.
And she offered to pay for a month's training in coding.
Okay.
And he has loved it. I mean, he's even begging for the class not to end always. He was so upset today that the class was 1 hour. He was saying learning should not have time. Why should you be putting time to learning? And this is the same boy that when you want to teach him other things, he just doesn't click. He's tired. And I was surprised. He was begging to continue learning.
Okay. Now the training is over. Perhaps you should also give him an opportunity to put into practice what he learned from it. Get him the materials that he need. Get him the books that he need, even if he's a pre-loved one. Right? So it's not just learning. For me, I believe that learning without application, the wisdom does not come from that. Your knowledge, when you apply your knowledge, that has become wisdom. So he has not been to the school. Now is a turn to put into practice what he has learned. Because when he does that, he's reteaching himself again and he's solidifying the knowledge that he has learned. It becomes part of him. Exactly. Ellen Paul is a doctor now. And she's also in America now. You do know she's a lecturer in America now. In the art department. Yes. She and her family, they live in America right now. You can go and research it. And nobody took her serious. If you follow her story, they didn't take her serious. And that her voice, people used to laugh at it. But now look at it. It paves me way for her. So please, let's build on that. Rama, please. Find someone that will mentor your brother, that will help him. He's onto something, all right? Thank you so much for your question. Right, okay. So
Thank you.
now, you're welcome. All parents that is here, I've got less than 5 minutes. I want you to please write this down. I want you to start spotting your children's strengths, observing the things that they like doing without you telling them. There are some children you will tell them to go and wash plates. They know that's their show, but yet you have to remind them. But when it's time for them to do sports, when it's time to do certain things that they love, you do not remind them. They just do it naturally. Pay attention. Notice their recurring interest. Build on their strengths. Find one related experience on that will help them to develop their strength that they have. And also allow the child to try. Allow children to try. We all learn from our experiences. I always tell people I never fail. It's either I learn or I win. So when things do not work out, it's an opportunity for me to learn. When things work out, at least I know that is the right way to do this. So let your children try. And if it doesn't work out, don't tell them I told you so. Ask them, what did you learn from that? And what can you do better next time? Okay? Let's begin to know that. Someone said that is little girl. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that is little girl. So for you that have a child that is bossy, remember that child might be exhibiting leadership skill, but you just need to be harnessed in the right way. It means they can use their initiative. It means they are audacious. So you have to find a way to help them harness it. For a child that asks too many questions, it means they are critical thinkers. When other people just follow the line, they are thinking, why do we have to do it like this? Why can't we do it like this? Who said that? Whose major it is? Why do we have to follow this? Why is this part of the things? Are there better ways of doing this? They ask too many questions. If you don't ask too many questions, we are not going to have the inventions that we are having now. For a child that you feel you are too sensitive, you cry over everything, please, that child might be really good at showing empathy to others. They are the children that are very observant. When things change, they know. That observation skills will go a long way. I remember then when I have a younger sister. Please mute yourself if you are not talking. I remember then when my younger sister, when anybody come to visit, there was no phone then. I would ask her, who came to visit, who came to ask for me? What were they wearing? What color were they wearing? And all of that stuff. She told me, she's an adult now. She said, I did not like it when you did that. She said, but when I went to my nursing school, I remembered you because you helped me to improve my observation skills. Because then when anybody come to the house to look for you, I would look at them from head to toe so that I'll be able to describe them when you ask me. So when we started doing our observation as a nurse, that helped me a lot to be able to understand my clients a lot, to be able to understand what other people may not see. So our observation skills develop just through my asking our questions when people come to the house. A child that is always making things, they may be really, really good at creating things. So what is the next thing they might create? All the things that we're using right now that make our life at ease. Even this computer, I'm far away from almost everybody, but I can talk to everybody right here because someone taught to design the Zoom or Teams or Google Meet. That was because someone was creative with their knowledge. The clothes I'm wearing today, someone actually designed it. Okay? Now, when you say they don't like to wash plates, but with sports, she's very disciplined and highly principled, then you can bring it in. You can bring it in. You have to be diligent in all that you do. In order for you to be able to enjoy your sports, there are certain responsibility that has been assigned to you. If you do not want me to disturb your sports, please do your chores and do it on time without me asking you. So that becomes the carrot or the icing on the cake. So there are ways that you can talk to them. When you are doing your sport, I am going to disrupt it. But if you do your shows before your sport, I will not disrupt it. So don't you think it's best for you to do that so that you can enjoy your sport more? So there are ways that you can present this thing. And with parenting is repetition, 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 repetition. But as parents, let's be careful the way we frame things. I once spoke to a child in a school. I told them, choose your character strength. He said, I don't have any character strength. People like us don't go far in life. That took me back. That was only a nice student. That's about 14 years old or 13 years old. I then asked the child, who told you you will not go far in life? He said, my mother. And I said, I don't think that statement is 100% accurate. And I gave the reasons. So I hope I was able to reframe that child's mind. We are great influences to our children. We shape their values, we shape their beliefs, and we shape their identity with the things that we do, with things we expose them to, and the words that we use on them. We need to learn to reframe the way we describe our children. Don't tell them you are too much. Don't tell them you are too bossy. Don't tell them you ask too many questions. Don't tell them you are too sensitive. Don't tell them you're always making things. Don't you have a better thing to do with your time? You are killing their spirit. Please, let's learn to transport our children. Let's open the environment for them to be able to do things. Notice their interests and expose them to more in a very, very organized setting so that they will know that they can be more and do more. So when they repeat their things, it helps to deepen it. It helps to bring more initiation. And whatever we can see with our eyes, we can achieve. I'm going to stop here in case there's any question, because I think I am 2 minutes or 3 minutes past my time. Thank you so much for having me. I hope a lot of you will be able to take away what we've learned in the session today. I want over to the host now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Coach Sonia. You've dropped amazing gems, and one of the things that you mentioned is harnessing their strength positively, because if you don't harness it positively, you can use it negatively. Thank you so much for that. So if you have question, you can raise your hand or drop your questions in the chats. While we are waiting for that, would be taking this time to appreciate some of our sponsors once again. So please, you can drop your questions in the chat or raise your hands and we'll call on you. Thank you.
Us go hustle for market. If anything do us, who go dey our back?
So, now 300 naira one day our back.
You never hear of Goxi Microinsurance, the first licensed specialized microinsurance company for Nigeria, where they give cheap insurance cover with as low as 300 naira. Goxi Microinsurance get insurance products like Goxi Cooperative Welfare Scheme, Goxi My Business, Goxi Agric Loan Protection, and others wey go give us peace of mind.
We are make we start now.
Goxi Microinsurance no dey give loan, but we go help you carry your wahala with our insurance package.
For more information, make you visit them office for Edward and Valeria Plaza, 107 Obafemi Awolowo Way, Ikeja, or make you call 0802-314-0939 and 0815-287-9591. Terms and conditions dey. Goxi Microinsurance. Small money, big help.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
Oh.
Would you be sharing another one? Or can we go on?
Please go ahead and take the
Oh,
question.
someone have a question, yeah. Oh,
Okay,
I don't know if you
Sonia, you
can
can
read
go
it.
on.
There's a question there. Another one just came, and so I lost it. Oh,
There's
okay.
a first question. How can one help a child that does
Yeah.
things slowly and has short attention span but loves to coordinate and influence?
A child that does things slowly, for you, it might be slow. For them, that's their own pace of doing things. I always say, how do we measure things? I eat very, very slow. That's what people say. But for me, that's my own pace. So when people keep telling me, Sonia, you eat very slow, I don't see it. So when you say the child do things very, very slow, maybe that's the pace that they feel comfortable at doing things. Maybe because they are very, very, they pay attention to every details. And as a result of that, they are going to take their time in doing things. Unlike people that will just rush through it. But for them, they will take time in crossing the T's and dotting the I's. So I would say, please allow them to do things, excuse me, in their own pace, because at the end of the day, there are too many, who says this is the right pace to go? Who says this is the right pace to speak? Some people might say, Sonia, you speak very fast, but this is the way I speak. So please let the child do things at the pace they are doing things. They might be very thorough in when they are doing things, right? But loves to coordinate and influence. You see, they are coordinators. People that are coordinators, they want things to be done properly. They want things to be done up to standard. So maybe that's why the speed is not there, because she's focusing on doing things thoroughly. So please let them do things thoroughly. Perhaps if you want them to finish on time, if you as a parent, maybe you are going out and you want things to be done in 30 minutes, for that child, maybe give them grace of letting them know they have to start 1 hour before others or 30 minutes before others. So by then they'll be able to do that. Please, I hope that answers your question. There's so many measures these days in the world, and too many pressure. I don't know who is setting all this standard. So please, just, she's a thorough person or he's a thorough person. Maybe that's why. And someone said, one thing I've learned. Oh, sorry, carry on, please.
So I have another one. My 9-year-old loves to read, draw, and travel into our dream world, but extremely emotional. And sometimes people please her. How can I help her?
Okay. Now there are 3 layers to that. She's very creative, right? She's very creative. Please supply her more things that will help to harness her creativity. Then the second one, what was the second one before the people pleaser?
Extremely emotional.
Oh,
She
extremely emotional.
she loves to read, draw, and travel into her dream world. I guess she's very imaginative, but
Yes.
extremely emotional and sometimes a people pleaser. How can I help her?
Please help her by allowing her to learn how to sit with her emotions. Let her learn how to sit with her emotions. It's very important. She must not run away from her emotions. She needs to learn to sit with her emotions. She might be an empath. Empath is someone that can feel other people's pain and they take it, they personalize it for themselves. So please let us sit with those emotions, because I believe that our emotions are neither bad or good. Our emotions are informant. They inform us on how our interaction with the outside world or internally is impacting us. So when she becomes emotional, you need to sit with her and ask her, what is it about what has happened that is making you emotional? Ask them. Let them begin to talk through it. What is it about that situation that made you emotional? Okay. And when you find that, okay, that emotion, because they might just be crying because someone else is crying or because someone spoke to them harshly. So let's say, for example, you ask the child, why are you crying? Because daddy shouted at me. Okay, what about that is making you upset? I might say, I don't like people raising their voice at me. Okay, that's fine. Can you tell me, do you know why your dad raised his voice? Maybe you did not do what you're supposed to do at the right time. How can we avoid that? Because at the end of the day, you need to help your child to know that they can only control what is within their focus and not outside of their focus. You can then go away and go and talk to daddy, but the thing is, you cannot go around talking to people on their behalf. So this is why you have to focus on the child. Ask the child, what is the other ways that we could have expressed this? The person is shouting at you, you don't like it. What other ways can you do? You can do a deep breath. Let them learn how to do their breathing. Because I noticed that there are some people, they don't like people raising their voice at them. There are some people, they don't like you talking to them with harsh words, and it impacts them. So you have to let them know who they are and let them know what they have control over and what they don't. And show our ways. It might be through breathing exercise. It might be through coloring. Now, you said she likes to go into her imagination. It just seems that because of that sensitivity, she feels safer in her word, in her imaginative world. And that is why she keeps doing that. And if she feels safe there, there's nothing wrong with her. But just ensure that she's creating something that is safe in that creative world. So this is why I would say give her materials that will help her to draw the things that she sees in her imagination. That will help you to catch a glimpse into her thought process. Or into a girl, into a thought process. Then you'll be able to know how to. Because we use that in therapy as well, whereby a child is going through therapy, they've been through things, or a child that is not just talking, you give them things to draw. And when they draw things, I gave a child something to paint, a canvas, and she paints an emoji of a smiley face. And then in that smiley face, she paints all around it black. And the smiley face was just showing a bit with all the dark things. So I then asked her, what does this painting represent? She said that's the way she sees the world. And why does she see the world like that? She's in care. Nobody is looking after her apart from people in care. Her mom is alive, but because of one challenges or the other, she's not trusted to look after her. So she comes for visits. And that she doesn't even know. So when she drew that picture, she gave me an opportunity to catch a glimpse of what her thought process is and the trauma that she's carrying. So if your child is very emotional, give her things to draw what her emotion looks like and as she's capturing in her mind, so that you'll be able to catch a glimpse of it and support her with it. I hope that helps. What's the next question, Coach?
think that
Okay,
is
someone
it.
is asking how best can one manage a teenager that gets distracted easily with activities?
Unfortunately, it's not only a teenager that is that. You know, with the digital world these days, the internet, they are contributing to the attention span of children getting shorter and shorter with the reels, with the shorts in YouTube, and different disappearing messages on the Snapchat and all of that stuff. So people's attention span is getting shorter and shorter. Normally, a teenager attention span or any child is times 2 of their age. So a teenager, 13 years old, about 26 minutes. So if you know that they have a short attention span, perhaps whatever they are doing, make sure you break it into little tasks. That will help them. If you are expecting your child to spend 1 hour on a task and you know very well that their attention span is short, you are setting them up to fail. So this is the reason I tell people there's something we call bank reading or bank studying, whereby if you know the attention span of the child is 10 minutes or 15 minutes, give them that thing to do for that 15 minutes. They take a break and then you give them back again. They do that in school. So parents, I know that might be very irritating, but if that's what's going to help your child to study or to focus on activity you've asked them to do, please do that. You have to, because even in school, we work with children based on how they respond. So you break tasks. There are some students, you give a task to, they'll finish, they will not be disrupted. But some, you have to break the task into, you give them one paper, go and work on it, come back, tell me, and then you give them another one. So you need to find a way to manage that, breaking the task into little chunks.
I think we're done with the
So the last question we'll be taking is which is the best way to unlearn habits not suitable for parenting today's children?
Say that again.
The best way to unlearn habits not suitable for parenting today's children.
So the best way to
Unlearn.
Is it the parents that need to unlearn now or the children?
Yes, for the parents to stop learning the habit. For parents to unlearn the habits that are not good for today's children. Yeah.
Okay, the first thing to start is to go back and reflect. How were you parented? The truth is, majority of us parent the way we were parented. Because our children do as we do more than as we say. The same thing, we all follow through modeling more than talking. This is why you talk and talk and talk. Your children will not listen. The same thing with us. Go back. I will say every parent after this session, sit down with yourself. Ask yourself, how were you parented? Did you grow up in a home where they said a child should be seen and not heard? Where once your father or your mother make a pronouncement, that is it. There's no change in it. If you were brought up in that environment, you are likely to be an authoritative parent yourself. So go back and look at the things that the way your parents parented you, and then begin to highlight the things that you did not like the way your parents parented you, and begin to have an honest conversation with yourself. Because if you do, you'll be able to identify it. And then once you identify the ones that you don't want to repeat, then intentionally work on it and also make you accountable for it. I'll give you an example. My grandmother was a very authoritative woman. She had to be. She lost her husband at a very tender young age. And she had 8 children to raise all by herself. She never remarried until she died as a single mother. She had 7 girls and 1 boy. She had to toughen up. So she will stand and take authority and nobody dare move. But that also impacted on my mom. So she would shout. So my mom also became a shouter. And guess what? I also became a shouter. Not because I wanted to shout. So when I'm giving instruction to my children and they don't listen, the default in me is to shout and say, am I not talking to you? But I had to go on a journey. I've been a parent for 18 years. I had to go on a journey with myself and tell myself the truth. Sonia, you are a shouter. My daughter told me, said, Mom, when you start shouting, I don't listen. I said, what do you mean? She said, when you start shouting, my ear is practically closed because I am scared and I don't want to hear it. So all the things you say when you're shouting, I do not hear one thing. It was a painful thing, I'm not gonna lie. I was really, really grieved. So it means I'm raising my BP for nothing. I am losing my voice for nothing. And this same child is not listening. So I had to find a better way. And I make sure I got someone to hold me accountable. And who was the best people to hold me accountable? My children. Never give a child a responsibility to hold you accountable if you know you're not going to follow through. Because when I'm talking to them and I'm raising my voice, they'll just say, Mommy, you're shouting. I'll say, I'm sorry. And I'll now say, yes. So like I was saying, you shouldn't have done that. I have to bring my voice down because I want them to be able to listen. I want to communicate. I don't want to yell because it was not making any difference. So I had to scrutinize myself and I make them ensure that they hold me accountable when I do. And so far, I'm not perfect, but I've gone better. That even they tell me, wow, Mommy, you've changed a lot. I had to grow with them. They had to help me. So for that parent that is asking the bad habits, be true to yourself. Ask yourself, what are the bad habits that I've cultivated that I saw my parents doing that I need to change? Maybe your husband will hold you accountable. If you are brave enough, your children can hold you accountable. Or maybe someone that you trust can hold you accountable. But it's best with people that see you exhibit such character so that they can pull you up when you're exhibiting such. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Coach Sonia, for spending your evening with us today. And thanks to Dr. Mrs. Olajobi once again. To our parents, thank you for attending today's session. And this is just the beginning. Today is the first day. We have 2 more days to go. And the on-site event is
3 days. We have
happening.
3 more days.
Yes?
We have 3 more days to go, not 2 days, 3 more days.
Oh, yes.
Close on Thursday.
We have virtual village on Thursday, yes. And then finally we have the on-site event on Saturday. So if you've not registered, the link is in the chats, in the Zoom chats. You can just click on it now so that you can register as soon as possible before the seats, before all the seats get taken. So from what you've learned today, reflect on them, share with other families because PTS is a community effort and you can help us reach more families. Remember that it takes a village to raise a child. So please would appreciate if you help us share so that more people can benefit from the coming days. Thank you so much for joining today. Madam and Coach Zeria and Coach Amina, do you have any other thing to add?
No, I'm good. Please go ahead and close. Thank you.
All right, so thank you. We'll hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. See you all tomorrow.
Welcome to GPS, Guided Path School, where we are provided with first-class education that caters to intellectual growth and physical well-being in a morally, spiritually, and culturally enriched environment, using modern teaching strategies and aids that propel learners above boundaries. Our core values are the high 5: faith, focus, fitness, friendship, and future.
I am Abdulmuta Alpolo, and the name of my school is Guided Path Private School.
We have different programs to achieve this. At GPS, we are groomed to be well-rounded children. So, apart from core academics, we have time to play and do extracurricular activities, which include karate, young engineers, swimming, way with words, and many more.
alaikum. My name is Abimbola Yusuf and I'm the mom of Amira and Abdulazim. GPS has been very impactful in the lives of children. They are very well-rounded in all aspects. Spiritually, they are very sound. Academically, they are very sound.
GPS, everything might be beneficial.